Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whip ass.
And you will too if you pass.
All right, now, this episode, we will be dealing with just chilling. All right, but not chilling. We don't want to chill. Okay, just chilling is not what you want to do during this weather. It's funny. We planned to do this, and it turned 79 in Atlanta this week, but now it's gone back down. It's gonna be like 56 degrees or some high today. So it's getting chilly. Somebody said no sound. I think we have sound.
They was talking about the intro. They was talking about the intro.
Oh yeah, the intro doesn't have sound.
And the thing about us, we're a universal show, so we're not thinking about Atlanta. We thinking about the world. That's why we did this show. Exactly. We're not thinking about just ourselves. We thinking about y'all. We know y'all might be in some cold places out there.
And it's chilly here, but you know, my daughter Yemi and my daughter, well, two of my daughter Yemi and my daughter Abiola, my 23-year-old and my 14-year-old, they're in Chicago right now. And you know, Chicago had snow in October.
Right. Excuse me.
So
I got family there too. They definitely have been rainy and snowy for a while.
So we gotta you know, work out how to survive the cold before the cold gets here.
And the reason that this is another reason this is really good is because one of the things I wanted to just mention, I'm gonna pull it up real quick, and you guys can research this yourselves. But there has been a lot of talk about cyber attack, not a cyber attack, but a solar superstorm that could wipe out the internet for weeks or months, says scientists. So the one thing about articles like this is just what I do. So we know that mainstream media is controlled by, you know, a few companies, you know what I'm saying? So when I see something like this, it's supposed to be like a little article kind of in science, but it's in every, you know what I'm saying, say 4 or 5 main, you know, news sources, then I start paying attention because I know they want us to see this. You know what I'm saying? So I pay attention to what I think that they want us to see and ask myself why they want us to see this. Because there's always a reason behind the way people move. So I've seen a few articles, well, more than a few, about 7 articles. Geopolitical instability raises threat of catastrophic cyber attack. I've seen that, and then I keep seeing a solar storm, cyber attack, and they keep talking about for weeks or months. Power could be out. Now that would affect, internet service. That would affect your utilities if you don't know that.
I was thinking about your cellular signal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to affect a lot of different things. So, you know, you just see all of these. You never know what type of disaster you're going to face. You know what I'm saying? You never know what can make the power go out. We had that incident in Atlanta not too long ago where just cars was stranded on the highway for a whole couple of days. We talked about that on the show.
Yeah, bro.
I just seen another article, not an article, but actually, this was on the news. They showed in California somewhere. I'm not sure where. Y'all might know what I'm talking about. It was like a mile-long lines for electric cars to get charged up.
Wow.
And they said this was going on, and people are videoing this and putting it on TikTok and stuff like that, and showing the difficulties of charging your car in some of these areas. So I just want to, you know, y'all chime in if you've been going through any difficulties, but just be aware that that's the thing, that some of the things that's happening around America that's not really being talked about. And I know a lot of people my age ain't on TikTok like that.
Right.
a lot of the 40 and up people really don't know how to, they really aren't navigating TikTok, and they tell us to stay away from TikTok and all that, but it's really a good place to find local news. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people locally will post what's going on in their neighborhood and stuff like that, and it'll get on TikTok. So I just want people to be aware of little stuff like that, because getting stranded in the cold, stranded period, you know, that's what we dealt with at one, getting stranded, but this is going to be specifically about the cold.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Milton Davis, was in people from Chicago think this is ridiculous, but people down here just not used to it.
Right. Peace, Eugene.
Got caught in 1 inch of snow. That piled up on the highway that Belay was alluding to. He was in it for 3 days sitting outside. I'm like, hey man, you want me to come get you?
3 days.
No, just stay in and stay safe. I said, it's only an inch of snow.
Right.
To me, shit. I grew up going outside. The snow would be up to my damn groin. It was so high. So I'm like, well, it's only and Chicago is one of the coldest places on the planet, but it's not the snowiest. There are places with more snow than that.
Right.
An inch of snow. So I'm like, come on, man. You know, I just come get you. No, it's all right. And he you know, he was nervous and you know, at first,
we love you, Milton, if you're watching this.
First I'm taking it like, you know, a joke, talking with my wife, and then I started thinking, well, damn, you know, if you don't know a thing, it doesn't exist, and so you don't know cold and snow, and then you get an inch of it. It seems like, you know, so they were calling it Snowmageddon. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. It ain't Snowmageddon to me. It's actually a nice day, you know, go ahead and take a nice walk because it's brisk, but the air is brisk outside. But, you know, so he hit me up. He said, man, you know, truck finally cleared the way and I'm staying at a hotel because I'm not trying to get home. And I said, damn, if Atlanta gets hit with the type of snow Chicago does, it's going to be pure panic. But when I was living in Phoenix, they were like, you know, they're talking about the rainy season. So I'm waiting on when the rainy season. This brother said, we in it. It was drizzling. So it got heavier than a drizzle, you know, a little heavier. I'm driving and I'm looking, people on the side of the road crying, shaking. Me being a prepper, I said, well, this, depending on where you live, you got to deal with this because surviving is mostly mental.
Yeah.
You can have all the equipment and shit you want, but if you don't have the mindset, you ain't even using that equipment. You just sitting somewhere panicking, or like a pandemic will hit and you be buying 100 rolls of tissue.
we gonna forever join you. We're gonna forever join you. You know who he is.
Yeah. And you're wondering why people are buying all that tissue. That's pure panic.
But I got a question for you before we get started. This is off the subject. Well, it's off the subject, but not off what's going on at the moment. It is this is going to sound very bad, first of all, to y'all, not to Bob. Maybe I do not know a holiday. Is it Veterans Day that just passed? Or I don't know. Is it Veterans that just passed? Veterans Day?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, and please don't be mad at me. I don't celebrate any holiday. I didn't grow up celebrating any holidays, not even birthdays. So I don't even know what day Thanksgiving on. People be tripping. I know it's between the 22nd and 24th. Anyway, question, Bob. How do you feel as far as people? And this is a serious question I have for veterans that are also what I will call, I'm gonna say pro-Black. And not even, I know you revolutionary, but I'm gonna say pro-Black because it's so little revolutionaries. I want to, for the pro-Black and veterans out there that are pro-Black that's in the chat, I want to know how you feel too. How do you feel about two questions? How do you feel about people thanking you for your service or not thanking you for your service? And how do you feel about the people that may be on social media and basically just say, you know, F military, F on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and you know, F all that, F, you know what I'm saying, Marcus Garvey or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Two-part question.
All right.
I'm gonna ask Vince Davis, we appreciate what you're saying, but we're gonna ask you not to hijack the conversation.
Yeah, well, first, if people don't thank me for my service, I don't care.
I know you don't.
And most people don't. Most
Right.
people don't know that I was prior military, right? But if you're talking about former military, if you're talking about people who know me, I wouldn't expect them to, just because they know me.
Right.
But if people thank me for my service, you know, I'm grateful for that, because they didn't have to do that. So I'm grateful that they thank me for the service. I been careful what I say, because it's people who have drunk the military Kool-Aid who I care about. I'll just say,
I understand.
You never hear me say thank you for your service.
Right.
But I respect those who put in that work.
Right.
From Doc Peggins to Dr. Jared Ball to your stepdad to my daddy to my daughter, one of my daughters, two of my daughters went in the military, you know, but they weren't able to stay in it for certain reasons, right? But I respect them for what they did, even though I'm like, don't go to the military. Even though I say, fuck the military and fuck this country. You all heard me say that.
Yes, sir. We passed 8 minutes. You could do that.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at the clock, making sure. So, you know, I respect anybody who put in any type of hard work, put their lives on the line. We can say whatever, that they were ignorant, this and that. We could say whatever, but I don't care what you say. The reality is they put their life on the line.
Right.
Whether it was ignorant, stupid, whatever it was, they put their life on the line. So they get respect from me.
Right.
For that.
Right.
They don't get disrespect from me for sure.
Right, right. So that's the only thing, you know, I'm and we can get back to it. I just was thinking about it. I respect anybody who put their life on the line. I'm not going to say I respect everybody that went to the military, because everybody put their life on the line in the military. But because that's a choice. But I do respect people put their life on the line and came back. You know what I'm saying? I definitely respect people. I respect the people who come back and teaching certain things. You know what I'm saying? And so I really respect that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't understand the disrespect, you know, on that day. You know, I just want to just throw that out.
It's always been this. So people, when people, they you know, everybody talk about the ops. People are ops. People enjoy opposing things. And that's because most people ain't had somebody punch them in their goddamn mouth.
And they don't understand the energy. That gives it more power.
It's because they ain't never been punched in the mouth. So they just pop off and say whatever. I was watching this show the other day. This one dude, Indestructible Boy, he's got one eye. I think a M80 blew up, messed his eye up or whatever. And he does, you know, stuff about role-playing games, right? Well, he was talking about these folks who, if they're not racist, boy, I don't know what the definition of racist is. And sexist. They were attacking this girl who does Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and she's real popular, more popular than their old white asses, and so they were pissed. So they talking job about her, calling her sluts, and they want to ejaculate on her face and all this. This is a friend of the Indestructible Boy, so he's defending her, and he talks about he gonna get this one dude canceled, who I won't mention the name of his show because I don't want to give him no shine, and I don't want him to make the mistake of saying what he said about him about me. I knock at this punk's door. Now he said, you know, you're gonna get my show canceled, so and so. He said, you can't just say such and such about people. That's what Indestructible Boy said. You can't just say stuff about people like, you know, purple things. And he says, I can say whatever the F I want. I'll take out your other eye. I'm like, this motherfucker crazy. He said, next time, swallow the M80. It's so, and he said, and that's, I forget what he said, but he's trying to make it like he's doing it for likes. Well, if it is, once again, motherfucker had been punched in the mouth. You threaten to take somebody's eye out, and then he says, see, it's fun to do that. He gets a little evil, ratty smile. Oh, nasty cracker. He gets his evil ass. I said, boy, I've seen that evil smile somewhere else. I told you all about, I don't know if I talked about here doing a Cooksul wine demonstration. This dude doing the moves on his students, and he's hitting the student, hurting the shit out of him, and he got this evil grin. It's that same shit. It's fun to hurt people. It's not fun to hurt people. And those same punks. Now that's why you should give respect to people who have put in work and put their life on the line. Because punks like that who haven't done shit want to hurt you. I don't care you got a 3rd degree or 5th degree black belt in Cooksul wine. That ain't shit. You haven't put in no work.
Makes a difference.
That's why he grinning like that. But the people in Cooksul wine who have been in the military and shit, they're not doing that. Because they recognize what can be done to the body if you're really trying to hurt it like that. So there's a respect in class. People don't understand shit. I put them loving hands on you in class. I don't enjoy it at all. It has to be done. So now you have a respect for the amount of pain that you can put on people, but I don't go nowhere near putting it on you like I really could.
And that's why people that's trained more. What I mean, some bad people that's trained, but you don't see a lot of people that's trained getting into it like that because, like you say, that aspect of danger and just, you know, men that are experienced in women that's experienced in real action
and people that's really trained. That's the thing.
Not even, but some people might not be. What would you say? Like some people might not be trained, but they may have experience getting in. Well, that's trained too. That's trained. I forgot. Yeah, that's trained. And then out here in the streets, they not popping off. They don't be on the internet talking away certain people. I hear certain people talk on the internet to each other and on these shows, and I can tell like you ain't never ran up on that for real because you wouldn't run your mouth like that because your mind, you're not even thinking about the danger of what you say. You're not even thinking there's a price to pay. You're thinking you're protected, and you should never feel like that. Really, you should always feel like you got to be responsible for what you say. I didn't mean to get off. I remember. I just had to.
I remember DMX had beef with K Solo, and he was like, "K Solo gets out, I'm going to see him." People like, "What's the big deal? All he did was told you to suck his dick." And DMX said, in prison, you tell a man to suck your dick. That's a threat.
We just talked about it yesterday. I'm so crazy you brought that up.
He said, that's a threat. He said, so I got to see him.
Not even just some places around the world in America. You cannot, nobody's ever said that to me, ever.
That would be strange to me. I had one dude saying his ass ran in Chicago and And I regret, first of all, it wasn't this dude.
Somebody said it to me. They apologized right after they said it. You're right. So one person did. Go ahead.
This one sister had talked about her husband was just taking sex from her, raping her, right? And yes, spouses can rape their spouse if the spouse don't want to do nothing. Well, he was like, you can't do this to me, Barbara. You can't do this. So and so, so and so. I'm your husband. I can take it whenever I want to. It's like, nah, man, you got to go ahead and pack, get out of her house. She wants you out of her house. She brought me from Jamaica. He was revealing things that she didn't want revealed, but it's still, I said, it doesn't take away the fact that you raped her. You got to leave her house. She's asking you to leave. You got to leave her house. Y'all work that out later. You come back. That's not my business. But right now, you got to leave the house. He calls the boss at his job. Another Jamaican brother. Brother come over. And he's talking, this wouldn't happen. If this was my house, it wouldn't happen. I said, well, if it wouldn't happen, we won't know because it's not your house. He said, all of you all to get hurt if it was my house. I said, man, shut your mouth because you're talking philosophy.
Right.
Say something else. I'm really going to put my hands on you. I'm going to let you find out how real. And I'm going to see how real you are when you're talking about all of us that get hurt. I'm going to put my hands on you. Say another motherfucking word. He didn't say nothing. They packing this shit up. And he says, hey, sir, to me. And what scared him was I laughed when he said, sir. I said, yes. Suck a rod, man. That means suck a dick. I said, what? I started walking down the stairs. And he jumped in the car. I started crying, laughing as I'm still walking towards him. And that, you see the look on his face, like this motherfucker's laughing. He's gonna kill me. And he broke out, right? You don't tell no straight man or I don't know, gay man to suck a dick he don't want to. You don't tell no straight man suck your dick or suck a dick.
That's crazy.
I said, okay, well, I'm gonna smack him up.
Let's just be responsible with how we speak.
I'm gonna give him what people call DSLs. I'm gonna give him DSLs. So everywhere he go, everybody want him to do what he told me to do. I said, this dude here. So you all, that is a heavy insult to tell somebody that. I think the only thing more insulting, really, and I just a lot of times I throw it out of my mind when people call you an MFer.
Right.
I do. My wife's a mother. Mm-hmm. But my mother.
Right.
So you could be, and you don't talk about a black man's mama either.
I heard the worst insult when I moved to Atlanta in the hood. And it's when it's only, well, I wouldn't expect a white woman to be in the hood or saying this and it's living, but when one black woman tells another black man when she calls him, because a man can't say this, a woman had to say it, a dick in the booty ass nigga.
I've heard.
I only heard that here.
I've heard that before.
I only heard that down here. Oh, dick in the booty. Oh my God, what's that? What's that? That's
complex.
Where y'all get that from?
Yeah, that's complex.
That's crazy. All right, back to the subject, y'all. Please hit the like, subscribe.
Now, I think the worst insult which is funny to me too, because it came from my wife. When we first got together, we had a disagreement over goddamn sister locks. Right. And I was right in the disagreement, by the way. I won't say what the
I would love to know, but
I'll tell you later. So he said, so we disagreeing. And so I said, so and so. And so once I proved right, and I've learned how to do that, I said, I was right. Mm-hmm. Like that, right? And so she said, she said, please move your big head ass. I was crying laughing. I do have a large head. That's the staple of our family, this long head right here. She said, please move your big head ass. That she don't even talk like that no more. Y'all have never heard her talk like that. But back then, that was so funny to me. And maybe like why she don't do it no more, because I wasn't like, oh, you gonna call me? That was so funny to me. I'm like, you know how many people talked about my head? So it was funny. You know, when I was little, I used to say, let go my ego. I don't know why I guess he's saying my head was like an egg. Let go my ego, older boys. Until I started being like, y'all can't come better than that. Y'all can't come back. And then I would stay there and join them, and we going back and forth.
The dome of Akhenaten.
Huh?
The dome of Akhenaten. That's what
yes, I got the dome of Akhenaten, exactly.
That's right. Akhenaten sound like a big head. Not that.
And
not,
I got it's like
a
big head dude with knotty hair. Now I got that too.
That Baba Natten.
Exactly. I got it. Shoot, all my children. You look. When my oldest daughter, was a baby, her mother was walking through the alley with her. My cousin, huge drug dealer, is driving around, you know, checking out his job. And he looks in the alley. He said, "Oh, that's got to be my cousin." He sees the baby. That's got to be my cousin. He said, "Hey, come here for a second. That's Adam's baby." She said, "Yeah." He said, "Get in the car. You can't be walking through no alleys and job. Where you going?" He took her home. I said, "That's crazy." And she said she knew that was my cousin because she looked that head. So she knew it wasn't just some stranger. I said, "Hell no." So, you know, we got it. All the children. It's just, you know, it is what it is. My oldest daughter said, "I love my big head. I love it." You know, I said, "Me too. I love my big head."
You only see big head people in the movies. You know what I'm saying? My head kind of getting kind of larger. I got the seven. What's a 7.5?
Tyrese's head is like, woo, woo, and that's why he get movie roles.
There you go.
Hilarious. Speaking of getting back to the subject,
went out better because singers don't have to have big heads, but movie actors do.
A lot of news anchors have big heads too.
Because it's photogenic.
It is.
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking on getting back to the subject, I meant to say this when you were talking about Snowmageddon. The issue down here because, you know, our people who watch the show are in different places, is not necessarily just the snow, but at that particular time, it's the fact that they don't weatherize the roads at all.
Right.
So at that time, if you were like stuck in traffic, because the ground or the road itself was so cold, if you sat there for a few minutes and didn't move, by the time you tried to press the gas and move, your tires would not move, your wheels would not move. I almost got stuck myself trying to go and pick my son up that one of those days because of that. Because if you tried to go somewhere or turn around or anything, if you sat for longer than like 30-40 seconds, your car just wouldn't move anymore after that. So since then, they've done a little bit better, because at that time, like so many school buses got stuck that they said that they never want that to happen down here again. So they've gotten better with weatherizing the roads. Yeah. And also letting the children out of school, which they kind of do overkill a little bit, where they just, if anything's going to happen, school is out, but they just don't want there to be any more. I mean, there could be a tragedy that would happen, off of something like that. I don't think there were too many terrible stories about things happening other than people being stuck. But
and they got the black ice. So I don't know if black ice is everywhere, but down here they have black ice. It's ice you can't see. You just slip on it.
Right.
Yeah. So I know that was an issue too,
That's a real issue on back roads and stuff like that, because there's no
again, they don't weatherize the roads.
Yeah, they don't weatherize.
That's what it is.
when we were living in Stone Mountain, I was coming up Panola Road, getting ready to go to Jewel, and hit some black snow, and the car, I couldn't control it. I'm like, oh snap.
Ooh.
And it just rolled up onto Cumberland Highway. Luckily nobody was, because it was snowing heavy, nobody was out there, and it boom, the car hit the sidewalk. That's what made me stop. I turned that mug around real slow, went right back down the hill, back home.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
and that's what it was like those days, those Snowmageddon days. It's like you try to leave the house, and I had a car that I had just bought like 3 days before it happened. I didn't have any insurance. My tires weren't good. Like,
there's no way
I had just gotten it, literally. So when I almost got stuck, I did the exact same thing. I turned around and went home. I was like, I'm gonna end up in trouble.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it, boy. And you know, like you say, even now that they after that, how they take all these precautions, they still don't hit back roads that most of us stay in the cuts.
Right.
So yeah. Peace, Eugene Mason. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
we'll
thank
read
you
all
for
your
the
comments for the rest of the show.
Yes, thank you so much.
Vincent Davis, I'm Raquel E. I'm the one saying that you cannot hijack the chat for your own ulterior motive. No matter how.
I got facts. Y'all can talk to each other. I'm used to peanut gallery police. Y'all.
He didn't know. I'm sure he didn't know that I was the one that said that, because
I think he did.
So it's okay. I just want you to know. You know, I appreciate what you're talking about, but it's a time and a place for everything. It's 100,000 shows on Black Pod Media, so you can find one.
Or you can start your own podcast.
No, I'm not. You can find one speaking on that. You know, I don't mind. We always have a lot of conversation, but I just don't want to get, you know what I'm saying?
Our manifesto said, Danish archaeologists work. Why are you adamantly going on about it in all chats today? So obviously he has been in other chats.
Right. Okay.
Vincent got something to say, but not right here, Vincent. Let's see. Let me go ahead and move on. More chance. Huh? No, be out of here. All right. So
let's go.
He said, warrior class. I don't know how he did that. He came right back.
No, that was the last comment.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Peace out.
Klingon size dome.
He knew.
That's hilarious.
He knew you talking. You know, these folks don't bother me. It's like when folks get mad on Facebook and all these other things. Back in the day, they used to be just talking crap. And I would go, ploop, they out of there. It's a delete button. How can I let you bother me? I got a delete button. Boop. And for some people, if I really want to make their day bad, I'll say something scathing, right? Something I know gonna drive them crazy. Then boop, delete them before they can say anything.
I started doing that. You got me doing it. You told me about it. When they get on me on IG, I'll put a crazy comment, just go crazy. And then before they I let them comment, Bob, and then I delete their comment and then block them so they can't comment no more.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. That's a personal torment. I like to,
Yes.
But anyway, we're gonna get into it.
Yes.
Peace, Jadar. Peace, everybody, man. We appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Yes.
And
we're styling on them. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Jadarian, yes.
And right. I want y'all to know, hey, want to see how many of y'all would be up for it, because soon to come, probably I know around when the weather breaks again, it's gonna be time for a warrior class conference coming, the in-person conference where y'all get to come and we actually do the work. I want to know how many people is going to be down for that. Probably the same amount of people who got tools on them right now in the chat.
Exactly.
I'm willing to
right
bet. Back. So Bob was leaving y'all. I'm about to rant. Oh my goodness. No, I'm just kidding. So, Anika, we haven't heard from you that much today. How are you doing today? What's going on?
I'm doing great. I actually, I don't know if anyone saw on Thursday morning, there was a very, very large object. Yes, there was a large object in the sky right next to the moon. Yes. It was 4:00 in the morning. I was actually on my way to work, and I saw this huge, like almost plus sign or asterisk or something right next to the moon. And normally when you see things in the sky, it ends up being a plane, something it's moving slow, but it starts moving. And this thing did not move. So I'm staring and I'm driving, I'm about to get on the highway. And I'm like, what is that? What is going on? Because it was really large. Right. And I got on the highway. I never saw it again. I guess it was behind me or whatever. And I never, how the moon moves or you move around it. I never saw it again. I worked downtown, so I couldn't see it past any of the buildings. And I was concerned. I do not mind saying. I sent a message to Belay. I sent a message to Baba. And it was really early in the morning, so neither one of them answered me. And then I looked it up and I saw that a day before that they had said something about Venus kissing the moon in the sky on Thursday morning. So it was a sight. I've never seen anything like that before. So if anyone else got to see it, chime in.
For some reason, I still feel like you're the only one that has seen this Venus.
One of my coworkers saw it. He said he walked his dog early in the morning before he came to work.
No, I was just messing with you.
He didn't know what it was either.
I'm mad I didn't even see any video.
Shrooms is a hell of a thing. Shrooms a hell of a thing.
They are. He says while he sips shrooms.
Mushroom coffee is different from.
I manifesto talking about Belay want me to have my tools in the bathroom.
Yeah, why not?
He does.
What are you talking about? They should be on
you in the bathroom.
If your person is in the bathroom,
that's the main place to have them. Somebody kick in the door while you're on the toilet.
I text them right now. Say you're vulnerable, bro. You're vulnerable. What are you talking about?
You just had that mug ready. Somebody kick in the door. You keep on using it. Boo!
Listen.
Thank you again, Eugene. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Wait a minute, Eugene. You got your taxes.
Look, just keep it on you. Whether you in the bathroom or the kitchen or wherever, you just have it on you.
Or you have it outside the bathroom with a string. Somebody comes, you just pull the string. Right? Just hope it ain't like your cousin coming in with the spare key.
We really do appreciate you, Eugene. One more donation. You can send me an inbox with a name and an address. I might do some appearances for you now. I might pop up. You know what I'm saying? You have some problems around. You got some neighbors getting on your nerves, something.
Hey. All right, so
nice.
We're about to get into it. It's getting cold out here. So
Jadarian said Eugene trying to fund our Patreon.
Hey, that's dope. And we're feeling it. We're feeling it down here in Georgia. So I know you're feeling it up top, as Belay said. New York, Chicago, and all of that. I know you're feeling it. The temperature has almost dipped to freezing. It almost dipped to freezing last week, right?
Right.
And the week before for 2 weeks. Then it just warmed up. Now it's getting cold again here. Now I love the cool, right? And cold weather. What not extreme cold, but what folks call sweater and leather jacket weather.
In Chicago,
as I'm sure some of you do too. The crisp air, the colorful leaves, the hot cocoa or mushroom coffee, or chai. Oh, and on that, chai means tea. So either say I love tea or I love chai, but don't say I love chai tea. They're saying I love TT. And TT is how little children say urinate. I got a TT. So don't confuse the babies or your barista. Just call it chai or tea. Okay. Anyway, back to the cold weather. As the temperature drops, our bodies shift blood flow away from the surface and the extremities to keep the most vital organs warm the longest. This prolongs the time that the body's core is protected. So it's going to shift the blood away from your fingers, toes, so your liver, heart, lungs, they can survive. Brain, they're more important, your body feels, than your fingers and toes. Okay. The cells begin to die if the extremities are without blood supply for an extended period of time, though. Depending on the extent of the damage, either new cells will grow in place of the damaged ones, or the affected area of the body will succumb to frostbite, which we'll deal specifically with later.
Right. Human bodies are just poorly prepared to withstand even mild cold. I know when I go home to North Carolina, I stay with this dude. If you watching Lamont, I swear to goodness. Matter of fact, his house stays at about 68 all year round. And just that, to me, I be in there with long johns and everything. Like just that, I feel like I lose my fingertips. They start freezing after a while. So, like, seriously, we are poorly prepared to withstand even mild cold. But because of behavioral adaptations like dressing appropriately and creating shelter, we can survive cold climates. Cold survival requires two things to happen at once. First, we must produce enough heat in the body through the burning of food we consume. Second, we must prevent heat loss through appropriate clothing and shelter. If the ambient temperature falls below 77 degrees Fahrenheit, a nude individual will begin to feel cold. I'm nude individual. Then psychological reactions like shivering and blood flow redirection away from the extremities and skin surface will take over. My temperature stays on about 77. A reasonable, well-nourished adult can maintain their core temperature and still air just above freezing point wearing only light clothing, despite feeling chilly and shivering thanks to these psychological reactions.
Physiological,
I'm sorry. Physiological reactions. What? A fever makes you feel very uncomfortable at 104 degrees Fahrenheit, while a core body
100.4.
100.
People always make that mistake, say 104. Your job at 104 is different. Yeah, right. Deals with that though.
Yeah, 100.4, while a core body temperature of 104 is life-threatening.
Yes.
And necessitates immediate medical attention. At 96.8, you'll begin to shiver and feel quite cold. At 95, the chilly sensation is very strong. As a result of blood flow interruption, the skin may feel numb and have a blue or gray hue. That's for white folks mostly, or light skin.
No.
I think gray.
Black folk freezing and they get that gray hue.
Yeah, that gray happen. Actually, it's easy. It seems like it's easy to see in dark skin people. To me, we have a relative. Yeah, we have a relative.
Not ashy. No, not ashy.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't mean like ashy, like no lotion, but it's kind of
like a dull type. I know what you mean when you say that.
Yeah.
We have a relatively limited range of body core temperatures in which we can function. The majority of people live their entire lives without ever deviating more than a few degrees from the typical range of 98.6.
In the presence of flowing air and or damp or wet conditions, maintaining temperature becomes much more challenging. Frostbite and potential irreparable injury will happen if extremities even just marginally drop below the freezing point. It is a fact that wind speeds increase heat loss and make it feel colder than the thermometer is actually reading. And I mean, if anyone's from Chicago, I was born in Chicago. I grew up here, but I did spend my first few winters in Chicago, and that's unforgettable. Like I'll never forget for the rest of my life how it feels to have that wind hit you. How it feels like needles in your face. Your whole body could be covered. If any of your skin is exposed, you will feel that wind. Like even like it says, even below what the temperature feels like. So your body function is hampered by a drop in body temperature. Excuse me. When trying to tie a shoelace or button up with a clumsy, chilly fingers in low temperatures, this is most obviously observed. The muscles that control your fingers move more slowly, as do the nerve cells that transfer signals. For good manual dexterity, the ideal air temperature is 53.6 or higher, And for touch sensitivity, it is 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
Applying an ice pack to a burn or sprain helps to minimize swelling and damage, but also helps with the pain because low temperatures also decrease the effectiveness of pain receptors. The impact of cold weather on urine production is a typical sign of the season. Through the constriction of blood vessels, exposure to cold reduces blood flow to the skin surface. As a result, the circulatory system's overall volume is decreased, raising blood pressure. A process known as coldest occurs when the body reacts to this increase in blood pressure by reducing the fluid volume by eliminating some water through urination. Cold weather makes you desire to urinate. That's what that means. You may also notice that the surface blood vessels dilate or become wider rather than constrict when the skin temperature goes below roughly 50.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Periods of blood vessel dilation and constriction alternate when the temperature drops because your body is trying to prevent heat loss from the extremities while also wanting to provide the skin with blood for oxygen and nutrition. This phenomenon explains why chilly weather causes red cheeks and a bloodshot nose. The skin eventually returns to the ambient temperature when the body stops expanding the blood vessels to the skin, which is when frostnip or frostbite may happen. A person's goosebumps or pimples are a clear indication that they are feeling cold. Each and every hair follicle in the body has its own minuscule muscle called the erector pili connected to its base. Horripilation is the term that is used in science for this. It has little effect on humans since we do not have enough hair to make a difference, but it greatly enhances insulation in animals with dense coats of fur. For example, you might notice your cat or dog getting visibly bigger outside when the temperature drops below freezing because it looks like they're getting bigger, but it's really their hair standing.
Right.
The increase in heat production is the final reaction to a drop in temperature. When we start to feel chilly, we may start to shiver, actions that are pointless in themselves, but that generate heat as a byproduct and so serve to warm us up. Muscular contraction is an inefficient process that causes much heat to be produced. Compared to resting, shivering can produce 5 times more heat.
The extremities, including fingers, toes, ears, noses, and cheeks, will start to become cooler when the body begins to lose more heat than it can readily generate to maintain all parts at the normal 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Although less blood flows to these body parts than normally, there is still some blood flow. Greater blood flow would be necessary to bring cool blood back to the body's core, further cooling the body. In order to maintain the extremities at normal body temperature, okay, due to their large surface area to volume ratio, the extremities easily lose heat. Okay. Even in mildly cool conditions, most people experience this reduction in blood flow to some degree on a regular basis. However, it can cause frostnip and even frostbite in conditions of extreme or prolonged cold. These are instances where the body has chosen to put itself at risk or sacrifice some of the more expendable parts in order to maintain the core temperature and prevent hypothermia-related death. Frostnip is the first stage. Okay. Frostnip is most frequently noticed on the tips of the nose, the tips of the ears, or maybe the fingers. But definitely the nose. You've seen people with the little reddish nose. Doesn't matter the complexion. They get that. The earlobes get reddish. That's frostnip. Okay. And the fingers sometimes. The skin becomes numb and looks pallid and pasty. Pallid is pale. So it gets that palish look and pasty. You know, some folks go, oh, you're getting lighter because it's the winter time. You're getting lighter. Well, you better check what the lighter is.
Yeah, well,
because if it's palish, well, you could be suffering frostnip. The reason for this is that those areas are losing so much heat, there's not enough blood flow there. Frostnip is a precursor to frostbite and should be treated as soon as possible. Okay. However, it is easily remedied by putting on additional clothing. In order to hold against and warm up any frostnip areas, mainly the nose or cheeks, skidoo gloves can be used. Y'all have seen skidoo gloves. You probably don't know what they are. So skidoo gloves are snowmobile gloves.
Okay.
They look almost like motorcycle gloves, but they're a gauntlet. They go past the wrist. Skidoo gloves. And you can use those. You could tie some or use, what's that head band thing to hold you all's hair.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that to hold them, on your ears. Some skidoo gloves. On your nose would be weird, but you could, or just hold it there, for a time. Put some on, then hold another glove to your face. If you want to do that, you can do that. With frostnip, it is crucial to keep an eye, or you can, use a scarf around your face. We'll deal with how to dress for the cold in just a second. With frostnip, it is crucial to keep an eye on your friends because it is so simple to overlook it when it comes to yourself. If they have frostnip, you likely do too. So you're looking at, we're going somewhere. We're going to teach a warrior class workshop in Minneapolis. Well, no, in Alaska. They asked us to come to Alaska. I don't know why we agreed during the winter. And we go there, and I'm looking, probably be more than frostnip real quick, but I'm looking and I see Belay's ears and nose red. I don't have to put up a mirror. I know mine is too. I just got to, now I pay attention to myself. Say, oh shit, my shit's numb too. Right. Frostnip can really cause the skin's outermost layers to freeze, causing symptoms similar to sunburn before the warm skin turns bright red and peels off. But there's not any lasting harm. Frostbite is the next stage. Frostnip can develop into frostbite if it isn't treated. The distinction is that with frostbite, ice crystals develop inside the skin's live cells, which then kills them, of course. So you got ice crystals in your cells. And it kills the cells, of course. The skin swells and boils upon rewarming, converting from blue-purple to black. I've seen this one time, and that person lost their fingers and toes. Yeah. From blue-purple to black, forming a rigid black carapace. If the harm is not too severe, the dead skin is removed to reveal fresh, healthy skin that is developed beneath. They got to remove that skin on this painful process. Whew. It is excruciatingly painful. Subacute frostbite is the medical term for this. So it's frostbite under the skin. When frostbite affects the deep layers of muscle and bone, it becomes more dangerous. Fingers, toes, feet, hands, and even portions of the arm or leg may need to be amputated as a result of this, which almost invariably causes permanent tissue damage. Treating severe frostbite, rewarming several frostbitten body parts can be dangerous, especially if it is done too quickly. Told you the flesh boils, so you don't use no hot water. Okay. Therefore, it is preferable to keep the parts frozen until you can get medical help. A modern society is affected by cold weather in a variety of ways, but the overall mortality rate is where it manifests itself most dramatically. An average winter day has a 15% higher fatality rate than an average summer day. That's huge. An average winter day, okay, has a 15% higher fatality rate than an average summer day. Now, in the summer, folks shooting, doing all kinds of crazy shit, right? But still in the winter, it's a 15% higher chance of fatality. Deaths caused by hypothermia, influenza, and pneumonia are directly related to cold weather. Vasoconstriction. The cold is also a contributing factor in a number of indirect ways, including house fires, accidents, carbon monoxide poisoning, and fall-related deaths and injuries. In Chicago, every year when I was there, an elder person or a couple will fall. They end up on the floor. They can't get up. They're injured. They're laying there. They can't get to the phone. They urinate. The urine ends up freezing. So now they're stuck to the floor completely. They can't even crawl nowhere. And they end up dying. This is every year without fail in Chicago back home. Okay, when I was living there. Okay. I don't think it's gotten much better now.
Won't take nothing but no electricity in below freezing.
Yeah. So we did one of our training camps. Whenever we do training camps, we set up camp inside the tents inside the house, and people don't understand that who don't train. Don't train with us specifically. So our dear brother Kalanji one year, he said, I'm going to, the first year, he didn't do it the second year. First year, I'm going to tough this out. I'll just lay. We were in the basement at one of our houses, right? So I'm going to lay here. I'll be fine with my blanket on. I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. I go check on him. He's shaking like a stripper. I said, you all right, brother? No. Oh, Lord. Oh, I'm not all right.
That sounds just like Kalanji too.
So then, the only thing, he was so cold, he didn't say it's normal. Look here, man. He didn't say that.
Look here, man.
So another brother said, hey, you can get in the tent with me. Kalanji didn't hesitate, goddamn. He moved into that tent. And he was like, man, I was so grateful the brother let me in. You think this brother goddamn gave him the winning lottery ticket?
I did the same thing the first time. I had a sleeping bag and tried to do outside, and my daughter was in the tent. It took one night. It ain't last.
You be freezing. You're inside now. That same place where you all were at, I did lay without a tent, right? But I had tissue in my hands and in my shoes. You say, what does that do? We'll do a class on that one day. On how to survive, but don't try to do it. I think I told you before. Mm-hmm. I decided I'm gonna. We were in the forest. My wife and my son, she was pregnant with Yemi, who's 14 now. So that let you know how many years ago it was. I said I'm gonna sleep out. I'm gonna sleep without a sleeping bag. I want to see if I can tough it in the cold with what I know. So I made a heater out of a can that we had used, a can of beans, and a tea light. And oh boy, it was toasty. It was nice. It was toasty until that goddamn tea light went out. As soon as it went out, I woke up. It was so cold. I was screwed.
I'm starting to have flashbacks,
all right,
boy.
I said, come on, get in here. So she put me in the blanket with her. Another brother says she put me in the God damn it. I just said
tent, sleeping bag.
Sleeping bag, yes. She put me in the sleeping bag with her. Another brother, he said he gonna do it too. Since I'm doing it, he gonna do it. I heard him at about 2 a.m. This before I got in the sleeping bag. My wife, I'm so cold to his wife. Hold me. Hold me. Crying.
You sure it wasn't Kalonji?
Nah, it wasn't Kalonji that time.
Never follow behind Baba.
If it was Kalonji, he'd say, look here, man. I'm cold, man. Hold me.
Don't try to copy what Baba do. I learned that a long time. Don't try to copy what Baba do.
Don't do that shit, period. I said, oh, man. It was bad. It was so cold. I had held my peace so long because it was cold in there. I didn't want to go outside into some more cold and pee. So
Yes,
I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it as long as I can till I can't stand no more.
I'm telling you, boy.
It was bad.
I'm thankful that I have I maintain my what's the word? What's the temperature? Your internal, what'd you call it? You just said the phrase up here. Your my internal temperature, that's not right.
Your core temperature?
My core temperature takes a minute before it starts to, you know what I'm saying? I can go outside with a t-shirt right now because I've been in the house so long. It take a long time for it start to kick in for me. And I'm thankful for that. Body heat, that's what we say.
Body heat, yeah.
We call it body heat in the hood, y'all.
So
when it comes to a person's susceptibility to direct cold injury and hypothermia, factors including gender and cold and color matter. Elderly non-white people, we say that as a joke, color matters, but it really does. Like it's been proven, elderly non-white men are most in danger. Young white women are least at risk, and you can see it outside. If you live in Wilmington, North Carolina, it's 30 degrees out there, and you see young women have on tennis skirts. And
white women.
Young white women.
Yeah.
Women appear to be better able to maintain a constant body core temperature in cold conditions because they have a higher gradient of temperature from the skin to the body core. They're more likely to have cold hands or feet, for example. Bobby, you think also maybe because they have usually more body fat than men? Well, because I know that plays a factor.
It's gonna deal with that, but yeah, that's part of it. But
I just wonder, as an insulator, I guess we're about to talk about it right now. So as I said it, as an insulator, subcutaneous, excuse me, fat plays a role. Subcutaneous fat plays a role. That means the fat right under the skin. With women typically have more of it than men, which helps them stay warm. However, due to a high temperature gradient between the skin and the core, women are more susceptible to surface cold injuries like frostbite. Let's see, age has a greater impact than gender, with older people of all races having a lower capacity to withstand harm from cold. According to studies, elderly adults are more at risk because shivering and vasoconstriction, which reduces blood flow to the body's periphery, are less common. Additionally, as we age, our ability to detect temperature changes declines. As a result, older people are more prone to experience heat loss before it becomes a serious issue. That's why we always say, check on the elders all the time, but especially during the cold temperatures.
Yes.
A key role is played by adaptation. People who live in cold environments adjust to the climate and change their metabolism to do so. And just the same way when people from cold temperatures come down here, all of a sudden this becomes cold because it changes.
Like I cannot take Chicago cold no more.
Right. You're in Chicago right now.
Me and the Yalagoon, we went to Chicago one year in November. It was October 29th. We left. I think we left November 1st. And I said, God, it's cold. Man, it's so cold it hurts. My mother's like, this ain't nothing. That's before she moved down here. Now she's back in Chicago. I said, Ma, that's because you used to this still. My body is no longer used to this kind of cold. It's not built.
Your mind. Yeah, your mind too.
Yeah, that too. You know, it's so cold, but it is in Chicago. It's literally so cold. If you're at the gas pump and you're pumping, and your sleeve goes up, you know, you pump on your jacket, and the wind hits that, you are pissed. A friend of mine was pumping, and that's exactly what happened. His sleeve inched up on his arm, and a cold breeze hit his thing. He said, "Man, he's pumping gas in his car." He said, "Man, fuck this." He threw it on the ground. Didn't even get the rest of his gas. He got in the car, "Man, I'm out." I said, "Hey, man, your gas, man, I'm out." He left. I got that thing, pulled my car over, used the rest of the gas. He was peed off.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
To not, he's not crazy, but that the cold can be so cold. But if you ain't felt it, you never felt it. It is effective to use the age-old remedy of taking cold showers or baths and washing in snow to withstand the cold.
That may sound crazy, but
it may sound crazy.
Do not use hot water.
But now I end all my showers in the winter. I end mine with cold. That's just what I do. I do that in the summertime too. But that's for your thyroid gland.
If you're out there and your fingers start to swell, first time this happened to me, I probably was about 15, 16. I said, "Oh my God, my fingers, they like the size of goddamn hot dogs or something." So I run in the house. Luckily, my cousin Jim was over there. I run in the apartment we have out in Chicago. I ran into the apartment. My cousin Jim's there. Thank God. My mother wasn't, because I was gonna run hot water on the mug. Ooh. And they would have been worse. So I go over to the sink. My cousin Jim said, "What's wrong, Adam?" I said, "Man, my fingers hurting." He said, "Oh no, why you got the hot water on?" He runs over there, turns the cold water on. He said, "Boy, you put the hot water on, your skin would have split. Put this cold water on there."
I did it.
And that's what brought them down. And that's when he began to talk to me. Jim was a genius. But he began to talk to me about cold and how you handle it. That's the first time somebody taught me how to deal with cold weather. But excuse me.
No problem. When a cold snap strikes a city that is typically warm, the mortality rate will be noticeably higher than it would be in a city that is colder, which may not experience any increase in mortality at all if the cold snap is relatively mild. There's a time lag of about 2 to 3 days after the period when the cold snap occurred, which distinguished the cold-related deaths from the immediate impact of cold injury.
Cold weather and winter storms can be perilous. Plan ahead to stay safe and healthy. Get your house and cars ready. Get ready for outdoor activity and power interruptions. Check on the elderly. Even while cold weather should not come as a surprise, many of us may not be prepared when it does come. You are more likely to be safe and healthy as the temperatures start to drop if you are ready for the dangers. First of all, you want to set up your house. You want to winterize your house. You can install insulation, weather stripping, and storm windows. You can wrap your water pipes that follow outside walls with insulation. You can repair roof leaks and clean the gutters. Make sure to observe your heating systems. Also, have your heating system professionally maintained to ensure. I just
want to say real quick too, like repair roof leaks and clean the gutters. So I just want to say real quick, because I used to have a tree service and I used to do gutters for the state and the city. No, the city, not the state. Cleaning your gutters real quick for anybody who has gutters in the house can be one of the simplest ways to save the foundation of the roof of your house. I say foundation, the foundation is the bottom, but I'm speaking of the roof. It can be one of the main ways to save your roof, because I know people don't pay any attention, and that condensation will get into your wood and rot your roof and have to it costs so much money. So little stuff like just getting somebody to get up there. If you can't do it yourself, pay the money to get your gutters cleaned out annually. You know what I'm saying? Don't let stuff start growing. You see people have evergreens growing out their gutters and stuff. You about to face some problems. So I just want to throw that in there because that's a simple thing you can do. All of these are simple things too.
All right. So yeah, make sure you do that. Also, have your heating system professionally maintained to ensure that it is functional, clean, and well ventilated. And just also, as far as the heating system goes, make sure that it is the proper size for your house. The place where I live right now, we last December experienced a fire because for a few reasons. One of them, my grandfather, who at that time was in his 80s, was just experiencing what I think a lot of elders experience when they're not well, which is they feel the temperature completely differently, where, I mean, it really feels really cold to them all the time. So he would have the heat turned up, I mean, almost 80, 90 degrees sometimes. And so it was running so often that it actually caused a fire in the electrical system here. So we had to move out of the house for about a month in order to get all of that fixed. Because once the fire happens, it affected the electricity. So, you know, of course, you can't stay when the house is cold and there's no electricity and no heat. So we had to move out. So like Belay was saying, maintenance is a big deal. Make sure that you're having those things checked on in your home.
Emmanuel Briggs says, I'm a Northern California Bay Area kid, and that Chicago cold ain't nothing to play with. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how they do it either.
Now, my sister lives in Southern California, Camarillo, California, right? 1 year it got to 42 degrees. And she's kind of like, oh my God, people are dying.
I can imagine.
And, you know, I was young, and
there's a lot of homeless.
I kind of chuckled, like, what? No, not homeless folks caught out there in the mountains, and I kind of chuckled. I said, Phyllis, stop. She said, people are dying. I said, 42 degrees. She said, but they're not used to that.
That's it.
They're not used to it. So
that's it.
Absolutely.
If you don't know something, it don't exist. You ain't never felt that cold for like some loose shit.
If you don't know something, it doesn't exist, and your body moves in accord with that.
Right. Don't know how to move. Don't know how to act.
Don't know how to deal with the cold.
Definitely.
Right? If you don't know how to stop somebody from stabbing, so you say nobody can stop anybody from stabbing.
Right.
Because your body cannot. It cannot stop it. It cannot figure out what to do.
Right, because your mind.
You have people doing hi-ya, doing this, hui against a knife, because it doesn't exist to their brain how to actually deal with that. And so they resort to these things. Just so you know, and we'll get back to it. The best way to handle somebody trying to stab you is to run, not be there. That's the best way. But and you can say, well, everybody know that. People just stand there and get stabbed up.
Y'all about to say if they know it, they don't show it.
No.
If somebody got a gun and you walk up to and you talking to them, you would think you know to shut up.
The worst self-defense situation I was in wasn't for myself. It was only time somebody tried to stab me, because I'm their enemy, is in combat. But on the street, this dude is threatening people with a knife. I'm going into my workplace. I looked and said, God damn it. It's sisters out here. Because it was just brothers. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all had to deal with that shit. But it's sisters out here. And elderly sisters, too. I said, if it was an elderly brother, I would have stepped over there. But it wasn't no elderly brother. It was young brothers running. Oh, who helps me? And it was elder sisters and young sisters out there.
That part, Emmanuel Briggs.
And so I had to get involved. That was the worst. I'm like, I gotta run towards a motherfucker that's got a knife, and he's a huge dude and actively trying to stab folks, but he's nutted in squirrel shit. So I was successful in disarming him because he didn't see me. I didn't walk up to him. Ha!
Right.
Stab, if you will, hoy! I got behind his ass.
Just like you teach us to do.
Grabbed that shit, yanked his wrist so his arm was hyperextended against my chest, and he dropped that knife. He was a big boy. So he's shaking. I'm moving around like I'm wet tissue. So I dug my head into his shoulder here and moved him around, right? When I threw him around, he like, this must be a strong ass dude. I'm dealing with physics. And so that made him kind of hesitate. So he's standing, looking at me. He didn't know what to do. I said, come on, big boy. Come on, I'll beat the hell out you. I'm going to beat you to sleep now, right? So he's hesitant. He can't get to the knife. If he try to get to that knife, he's going to get broke up. So he's trying to figure out what to do. And he was going to leave. And from behind me, a person supposed to be my brother, not my biological brother, grabs me and says, don't hurt the man. Let the man live. And then that dude grabs the knife again. Because now I'm being held. I throw the dude who's grabbing me. I said, mother, first of all, I'm from the hood. You don't never grab no motherfucker. You fight. So I threw him. Boom. And I was about to step on his goddamn neck. But the dude coming with the knife.
So you got to move.
All the sisters safe. All them safe. This fool is there. I break inside the building. I'm cool now. Now he got to deal with it because he shouldn't have grabbed me. But the dude just so keen on me. When I got in the building, locked the door, he just kept on going.
It's funny how we was talking about the cold and we end up getting into some action. It just don't. It's warrior class. We gonna get into
right. It's not gonna escape. My shut dude Randy used to say that. Come on, big man.
Ping one, big guys are slower. I don't think you should go upon life with that.
So yeah, don't do that.
I just seen Francis Ngannou on the street shadow boxing Baba, and he looked pretty fast. You wouldn't know because he's so strong.
I can mobilize.
Yeah, you see him moving like this.
He's fast. I can mobilize quick.
He's pretty quick.
When the show first started, I was not this size. I was 200-something pounds. So, and I'm not slow. I ain't never been slow, to be honest.
Yeah, so don't think that.
So no, not
unwise.
Yeah,
generalize
that now. If you're talking big like Wesley, big, y'all don't know Wesley. I went to school with Wesley. Wesley couldn't jump over something 4 inches high. Okay. Now him, the way I did, Wesley was stronger than everybody in the school. I was 8, so he was about 11, 12. But we were in the same grade because I was ahead of myself, he behind himself. And he was strong. Oh my God, he was man strong at that age. I mean, strong man strong. Probably weighed about 400 something at that age. Well,
at 11 years old,
so he's one of the bullies I beat up. And so I'm hit, 400 pounds. Yeah. So the way I beat him, I hit him, and I'd move back. And he's trying to chase me, and he got so tired, he just gave up and let me just whoop his ass. Excuse me real quick.
And we talked about
No, you're calling me. All right, my love. Bravo. That was my wife calling from the room. Right there. She thought she was calling her father's number. She's calling me.
Oh my goodness.
It couldn't be
the other daddy.
Hilarious.
Yeah. No, he's her dad. I'm daddy.
Okay, please continue, Alvin.
Along the lines of we were talking about maintenance, Also, make sure you examine and clean your chimneys and your fireplaces, especially if you plan on using them. But even if you don't, make sure that they are clear and clean.
That's always gross to me. A fireplace, you don't use it, but it's nasty.
Yeah.
At least clean that mug out.
Yeah.
Right. And chimneys, I mean, all animals can nest in there. All kinds of things can happen inside
Santa
chimneys.
Claus can come down it. All kinds of stuff.
Right, exactly. You definitely want to burn him
Santa
up.
Claus come down my chimney, I'm tearing his ass up. Some big white man with a thick beard should not be coming down my chimney.
And keep a secure backup heating source and backup fuels on hand. I see in the chat they're talking about, be careful with space heaters, and that's true. You do want to be careful with them, but they also can be very handy. So just make sure that you're careful, but make sure that you have one.
And don't just keep them running. Same way you said, like how you all ran the heat. Don't just keep them running. Do not run them without them being attended. Like
right. Yeah, well,
you going to work and you still got hell no.
Right. Yeah. That's not just because you want it to be warm when you get home. Right.
Exactly.
Right. Try to set up a smoke detector if there is not one in your home. Replace the batteries every 2 years and test them every month. Avoid emergency.
Don't be like Kamal. And Kamal, you hear this screech every time. They changed it now, I think. Well, I think he just knocked it off the wall or something, but change them batteries.
Avoid emergencies with carbon monoxide or CO poisoning.
That'd be good.
Install a CO detector to warn you when the dangerous colorless gas is present. When you set your clocks forward or back in the fall and spring, check or replace the battery. Become familiar with the signs and symptoms of CO poisoning, which can include confusion, dizziness, a headache, nausea, upset stomach, and weakness.
Before winter approaches, prepare your car for use in the cold.
Don't wait till the winter. It's cold.
And we talked about Milton was trapped in the car, but at least he had a blanket and water, stuff in the vehicle. Remember, he was in there for 3 days.
Right.
He hadn't had water and shit. He'd have been in a bad way.
And that's why we
maintain the antifreeze level and do radiator maintenance. A lot of people, they'll check out their alternator, they'll check out their engine, but they neglect the radiator like it just runs forever. Inspect the tread on your tires and replace them with all-weather or snow tires if necessary. When you're in Chi-Town, Seattle, upstate New York, I don't know about New York City, but you definitely want to get those all-weather tires or snow tires, okay? To prevent frost in the gas. Now, I've seen on TV shows, they wrap chains around their tires. I ain't never seen nobody in real life back home do that. I've never seen that. I don't even know how you would do that. So just get you some all-weather tires if you can afford them, and you should make that part of your budget if you live in cold areas.
Yes.
Specifically if you got snow. To prevent frost in the gasoline tank and fuel lines, keep the gas tank filled. When it's cold, keep it filled.
People don't know this, but maybe y'all do, but a lot of people don't know this. Keeping gas in your tank, is more than just for the fuel. There's certain components in your gas tank that gasoline is the lubricant for. Mm-hmm. And it needs that, and it's also to maintain certain levels for other things. So letting your tank go past half a tank, or really past a quarter of a tank, you're actually damaging your vehicle. By letting your car go over a quarter of a tank,
not getting enough water, you're damaging yourself.
Exactly. You're going along with a quarter of a tank and stuff. When I was young, I used to pride myself on riding on E. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why. That was the thing. I was just ride how long you could go on E. Tear your car up. Don't do that, y'all. Don't tear your cars up.
Right. Put a winter windshield washer formula in.
That's
so you have winter windshield wipers, but there's also the washer formula that you put in your vehicle. There's winter windshield formula.
Won't fog as much. Won't defrost.
Right. So use that. Right. Because people use just the summer type, and your windows fogging up. Like, man, it's freezing on my window because it's not for the winter. Okay.
It can help de-ice your windows more easily. Also, if you have the right fluid in there.
Yes.
Right.
Somebody said those new airless tires being developed are interesting. I think military already has them. Yes, military does.
And BMWs and Mercedes.
and Range Rovers too. Yes.
Right. All the luxury cars got them
too. Put together a winter emergency pack to keep in your vehicle in case you become stranded.
Like everybody should have a Mercy first aid kit, but this is a little different.
Yes. So you should have this in your car. You should also have one in your house. We'll deal with just a second. But so for your vehicle, in case you become stranded, okay, have a flashlight, a radio with batteries.
Yes.
Okay. Bag of sand. Now on the radio thing, we had one camp. Nobody had a radio or even a watch. They were relying on. So I let them use my radio, my wind up radio. But so they're listening. They're trying to listen to the radio to get the time. Nobody was giving up the time. I said, the radio is good, but don't use it like a clock. It's a radio. Okay. We like to use, I'm talking we black folk, we like to use one thing for another thing.
What?
So every flat surface becomes a table.
Who told you that?
So you want to use your watch, your phone as a watch.
Right.
They're two different things. Get yourself a watch too. But anyway,
and a compass,
because they could not tell what time it was, and it was key to their survival in this scenario, and they had no clue what time it was. They were screwed.
I just want to say, if you got a car that don't have jumper cables, you're just not an adult. You're not responsible. I don't trust you.
You're playing. And a lot of people are playing. Also have a bag of sand or cat litter.
And that's not just for winter. You have that all the time. I've actually been able to help someone get out of mud.
Right, exactly.
And that was in the summertime. And that's because I had cat litter in your car.
You keep it in your car in case you can get stranded at any time.
Yeah, well.
So a bag of sand or cat litter, blankets, booster cables, booster cables, cell phone, not as a clock, but as a cell phone. Coats, extra batteries. That's extra batteries for the radio and for the cell phone and the flashlight. Extra scullies or other winter hats, because I'm assuming you got a scully on if you got sense. And we'll deal with how to dress in a minute. First aid kit. You should have that everywhere. Flares, food and drink. Drink mainly water. Okay. Maps, mittens. I didn't say gloves, I said mittens. Plastic bags, portable charger, sleeping bags, a tire iron, and a tire pump. That's at a minimum. You should have those in your car. If you got space in your trunk for 10 suitcases, you should only have space for 2 suitcases or 1, because you should have your survival supplies in that bad boy.
Yeah.
I was going to say the portable charger thing. Now, before, for years, you could buy like we were talking about, things that you can actually jump the car with that are portable chargers, but they also have them now where you can give your car a jump, you can charge your phone, you can charge other things, and they're more and more reasonably priced all the time. You can get something like that for under $40-$50 now. So there's no reason to not have one.
Also, and I was gonna put this as the news, but mentioning cell phones and getting things that just do one thing. Kendrick Lamar just partnered with this tech company called Light, and what they're doing is they build a phone from scratch, where they said they build all of the tools from scratch to ensure There are absolutely no third-party apps tracking you. In this time of surveillance capitalism and the attention economy, the light phone represents a different option. You are the customer, not the product. This is a phone for humans. So all it is just a phone. It just dials. It has no color. It looks like those digital clocks you used to have back in the day that just was gray with the time on it. It's just like that. And it's pretty cheap. They actually sold out right now. He just launched this, I think, November the 3rd through his company, PG Lane. But I thought it was great, man, and a really good product and a good approach and what he's trying to get at. And it'd be something good as a backup phone to have that doesn't cost much. That's just only a phone and off of any service. I forgot. You can go and look this up. Light is spelled regular, Light, and it's called the Light 2, the actual phone, and you can go look that up. I don't plug a lot of things, but that's our brother. And from what I see, the tech company is represented by some brothers as well, but I'm not sure how that goes, but he's partnering with them. So I think that's a good product you may want to look at. So anyway, be ready for emergencies caused by the weather, such as power outages. We just talked about that before the show started. Maintain a supply of water and uncooked, unrefrigerated food in sanitary containers. Make sure your smartphone or your not smartphone is charged completely. Be mindful of the present and predicted weather when making travel plans. Maintain a current emergency kit in your home that contains the following:
Say hi.
A first aid kit and additional medication, a weather radio from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the NOAA. Is that okay? Anyway, additional batteries, baby products, but not baby powder because Johnson Johnson didn't sue for. That's another story. Candles and matches.
Use some baby powder for other stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you. Because baby powder is very useful. Candles and matches, flashlights, lamps. One more time. First aid kit, additional medication, a weather radio from the NOAA, additional batteries, baby products, candles and matches, flashlights, lamps, standard cat litter, of course, for icy walkways. Defend your family against carbon monoxide by avoiding the storage of barbecue grills. Keep those in the garage and stuff like that. Camp stoves and generators in the basement or garage. I tried to use a diesel generator in the building before it went bad. Placing generators a minimum of 20 feet away from your home. I had to learn that one the hard way. If the CO detector sounds, leave your house right away and dial. I can't say it. I'm sorry. Dial the number that you dial. That Flavor Flav said was a joke. I'm Nikki, please. Dial 911.
A few outdoor pursuits can expose you to a number of safety risks, but you can take the following precautions to be ready for them. Dress appropriately for the weather by donning a wind-resistant, tightly woven coat or jacket, inner layers of lightweight warm clothes, mittens, caps, scarves, and waterproof boots. On slippery places, sprinkle sand or cat litter. When performing outdoor chores, move slowly. When engaging in outdoor activities, bring a friend and an emergency kit.
Real quick, that's something that went by. I think that went by kind of fast because it'd be cold, rainy, and you walk out the door and go down. You've been living. You know what it is, and you walk out the door and hit them stairs with that. And we just not. I can't think of the word. It's to describe how we walk out of the door and not paying attention to that.
Oblivious.
One of those things, but yeah, just kind of. But anyway, just that, because that fall right there, I know it's responsible for a lot of hip replacement, a lot of knee surgeries, a lot of ankles. I've been hurt a few times walking out the door, quick not thinking, boom, bang, slip. on that
Well,
concrete. Unforgivable.
I have a video.
Me falling?
If
Oh.
the computer that I end up falling on and breaking is in that, but otherwise I'd have shared it. Our dear brother who bought the 500 rolls of tissue during the pandemic, his ring camera or door camera, whatever you call it. What do you call that thing?
Ring.
Door camera.
Yeah.
It caught him walking down the stairs. And he said, "Achoo!" And it flies in the air. He said his daughter watched it like 100 times, was cracking up, right? So he said, he was telling me about it. He said, I'm gonna send it to you. He sent it to me, and I understood why she kept watching it, because I probably watched it 20 times and I was just crying, right? So I would have shared it here, and he wouldn't have mind. He's just like, oh man. But
that's a big one though. Walking out that door, man. It's like accidents happen close to the house, like, because that's where you're not
right. You are oblivious. You think everything's cool,
right?
Right.
You know, I fell out here during the winter taking my daughter to the bus because you know I did my check around, head on the swivel, don't see nothing, everything cool. Bus will be here in like 2 minutes, so I'm walking. And it's ice. It's that black ice on the damn. We got a ramp here, right? I'm walking on the ramp. Jamie goes down the ramp like it ain't nothing. So I didn't think. So I'm walking. Thank God for Cebu. Because when I fell, my feet were pointing to the sky. I said, "Oh, snap! Boom! Slap the tuck slap." I was fine, other than just the impact. Like, God, I said, God, dog. He was like, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. You know, I got up, walked into the bus, came back home, and I just got into bed, man.
Start over in a couple hours.
I'm like, boy, my day started like that.
That would be rough, man, that first fall.
Winter falls ain't no joke. All right, sorry, Dominique.
That's all right. Also, make sure that you keep a cell phone on you in those situations. Like we said, make sure that you keep your phone charged. Do this when planning a trip. Be mindful of the present and predicted weather when making travel plans in the place where you are and the place where you're going. When the National Weather Service has issued advisories, stay home. If you must travel, let a friend or family member know your intended route and anticipated arrival time. If you find yourself stranded in your car, abide by these safety precautions. Ensure that rescuers can see your car. If it is not snowing, raise the hood and tie a brightly colored cloth on the antenna and turn on the outside overhead lights when your engine is running. Transfer whatever you require from the trunk to the passenger compartment. Unless safety is less than 100 yards away, stay in your car. Maintain body warmth. Wrap yourself in extra clothing, blankets, or newspapers, covering your head as well. If you can, gather with other people. Keep moving and awake. You're susceptible to health issues brought on by cold will decrease. Move your arms and legs as you sit to increase circulation and stay warm. Run the heater and motor for about 10 minutes every hour while slightly opening the window to let in fresh air. Check that there is no snow obstructing the exhaust pipe to lower your chance of carbon monoxide poisoning. Be prepared to check on family members and neighbors who are more vulnerable to cold weather hazards, such as young children, elderly people, and people with chronic illnesses. Ensure that your pets are kept inside your home. Provide them with adequate warm shelter and access to fresh water if you are unable to bring them inside. Winter's onset cannot be stopped, but if you adhere to these recommendations, you will be prepared when it does. There's one other thing I wanted to add. A lot of times we call the winter or the colder weather flu season. And the reason why it's flu season is because people don't drink as much water as they do when it's warmer outside. So our bodies require water, whether it's warm or when it gets cold, because certain things start to happen inside of you that, it can be very detrimental to you to allow yourself to become dehydrated. And when we say water, we mean water, not things.
You could argue, Amaniki, that some people would actually perspire more in the wintertime because you're layered and you don't realize it, but you're perspiring all day long for the most part. So
right.
You're
very true.
Dehydration happens a lot. You'd be surprised how much more happens in the winter than what people would think.
Yeah, Bo.
Another thing too.
Keep that in mind. Stay hydrated. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This exercise Baba gave me a long time ago, and I used to do security outside in the wintertime when it'd be freezing cold. And this actually helps with as far as your extremities, for your hands. And what it is you grab yourself by the wrist right here, and it doesn't matter. You just, when you do the other one, you do the opposite way. So say you open slowly as you squeeze your wrist. You open slowly and close fast. Open slowly, close fast, tight. Open slowly. So you do that 10 times, then you switch. And on this hand, you open fast, close slowly. Open fast, close slowly. I'm about to do this a little bit, man. My stuff popping and everything. But that sends what we call in African martial arts, ashe. It actually does. I'm messing with y'all, but it warms your hands up really fast, really quick. Moving and all that stuff helps you out. But that's just a quick exercise that if I wasn't on this show, I would be telling people, that I gave it to him. I wouldn't be giving Baba credit for it. But since he's right here, if he'd went to the bathroom, I'd have tried to slide it in there and take credit for it. But I can't. He right there. That's his exercise. Really good. Really works. So that's just a little something to throw in there.
Now, just so you all know, I don't know if you saw. So my daughter, she pointed at the pen because the pen tip was out. So she pointed. She was like, "Why is it out? You're not using it." So when I put it in, she was cool. Interesting thing that folks notice even as babies. So anyway,
I want us to know how intelligent you are. I don't appreciate this bragging about your child. I'm gonna have one that I can brag about now. I have to have me another. All right, now go on.
So well, I didn't even talk about how she untied the knot, keeps untying the knot I put in there. But finally, it's crucial to keep warm, dry, and at ease when in the cold. Warm, dry, and at ease. You cannot panic. Okay. You will need a smart layering system, sturdy footwear, and a few carefully chosen items for maximum protection. Hold on just a second, because my daughter does have a tooth and she's biting me. But anyway, if you master these foundations, you'll be prepared for the cold that's already here and the colder that's coming. Why layer? The secret of layering lies in what we can't see. Air. Okay. Surprisingly, air is a great insulator. When we layer clothing on top of each other, we are trapping pockets of air between the layers.
Yes.
Our body heat then warms the air, and the layers keep that cozy space contained next to our skin. That's why you get hotter as your physical exertion increases. You're creating more body heat that subsequently sits next to your skin in the air that's next to your skin. Of course, cold, wind, and moisture all try to penetrate that snug cocoon of warmth. Choosing the proper layers minimizes this from happening. So here's how to layer for cold weather. We're looking at 3 components to layering, okay? You need a base layer, a mid layer, and an outer layer. A base layer, a mid layer, and an outer layer. So the base layer, often referred to as a next to skin layer, is arguably the most important layer since it is designed to move moisture like sweat away from your body. Okay. This keeps your skin dry and thus prevents conditions like hypothermia. Because of this, we think it's the most important layer to splurge on for yourself and your loved ones. You say, I ain't got, that much money. I'm gonna buy this, nice down coat. Well, that's your outer layer. Your inner layer, your base layer is more important. In general, you're looking at one of two materials for the base layer: natural fibers like wool and bamboo, or synthetics like nylon and polyester. You can go with either, but definitely ditch the cotton. Not for winterized. Do not use cotton. You know, a lot of people do that as a base layer. Don't do it. Don't do it. Cotton holds onto moisture, creating a wet layer sitting next to your skin. Not ideal. Not smart. Mid layer. Aptly named, the mid layer is the second component of layering and sits between the base layer and the shell. The shell is the outer layer. The base layer keeps your skin dry. So remember, base layer keeps your skin dry. The mid layer keeps you warm. It does this by trapping all the body heat you radiate while playing, exercising, and working outside. Hold on a second. Pooh Bear. All right. As a result, the more efficient your mid layer, the warmer you will be. Tip: we recommend a second mid layer for small children, like her, or babies, like her, who are sedentary. She's not sedentary, but who are sedentary inside a baby carrier or stroller. Okay. So we recommend a second mid layer to keep them warm. Thanks to the materials, the mid layer is typically puffier or bulkier than the base layer. There are a variety of options, but most mid layers are constructed with fleece, wool, down insulation, down are, feathers, or synthetic insulation. And finally, the outer layer as the third and final component of the layering trio. The exterior layer or shell is the piece of clothing that sits on top of the other two layers. The shell's purpose is singular: prevent moisture and wind from penetrating the inner layers. For adults and older children, the outer layer is often a single layer that is both waterproof and breathable. For younger children and babies, you'll often find jackets and snowsuits that combine the outer weatherproof layer and the inner insulating mid layer into one item.
Yeah. The thing about living in the South that's kind of sad is that you see so many people that are not familiar with layering their clothes at all and just basically wear the same clothes when it's cold outside, but just put a coat on top of it. And it's right. And they're freezing. You can tell that they're freezing, but they don't understand how to really layer.
I'm going to say, I've just felt attacked just now because I wear the same clothes, but I just put layers under. I might wear. I would have this summer. I wear it again, but I have long john under. You know what I'm saying?
That's layering. That's different.
But you're right, though. You do see that all the
time. Layering based on temperature. When gearing yourself and your loved ones up for the cold, follow these guidelines based on temperature. Brisk, that's 40 to 49 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about typically how it gets down here. Colder, it can get colder for sure. It can get to freezing, but that's typically when it's cold down here. Temperatures that fall on the warmer side of cool aren't terribly concerning, but it's still a good idea to know how to prep your toddlers and babies, since they cannot regulate their temperatures as easy as adults. Okay, if you got children, make sure you're paying attention. In this range, adults and older children should opt for a mid-weight base layer. Top it off with an outer shell to keep inclement weather out, along with a pair of lightweight liner gloves to keep those fingers toasty. If you inhale, and you waving that for, if you so they let you know she want to be
hello.
Safe.
I'm sorry.
If you inherently run on the cold side, we'd also consider adding an insulating vest to throw on if you get chilly. If you've seen those wool, like kind of military vests,
yeah,
you can, you can put that on in case you get chilly. For toddlers and babies, we recommend a mid-weight base layer. Then add a fleece mid layer along with warmer pants. Wrap it up with an outer layer like a rain jacket or windbreaker. Don't forget to include essentials like a hat and warm mittens, not gloves, mittens, along with waterproof boots. And that's not just for children, that's for you all too. Waterproof boots. Usually when it's in that 40 to 49, the weather can be rainy, you know,
Right.
so or wet out there. Now cold, 20 to 39 degree Fahrenheit. For adults and older children, start with a heavy base layer on both the top and bottom. Top and bottom, leg, torso, and head, and then bottom, your legs, your feet. Okay. Then add in a lightweight synthetic insulated mid layer. Okay. Like a lightweight puppy jacket. Okay. As with warmer temperature, if you don't know what a puppy jacket is, to be honest, in Chicago, we used to call them project coats. Everybody from the projects had these puppy jackets, right? Those we call them project coats. They actually jackets, they're not coats, and it's terrible we said project coats, but that's who mostly had them. I don't even know what store they went to, but they all had them. Projects on the south side and the west side.
It was like that in the 90s with the triple fats. Everybody had the triple fat goose.
Everybody had the right. So, but a lightweight puppy jacket. The triple fat is a heavy.
Yeah, triple fat, the puppy joint.
To get a lightweight puppy. As with warmer temperatures, enclose the entire system in a waterproof, breathable shell jacket and pants. At these temperatures, adults will also want to add both a pair of warm gloves and a scully. So at these temperatures, of course, you got long johns on. So your base, have on a heavy t-shirt and drawers, whether that's panties, boxer briefs, boxers, heavy. Okay. And then
tights, leggings.
Yeah, tights, yes, for your base layer. Yeah. Then your mid layer, and leggings can be a mid layer, you know.
I'll do tights and then leggings. So tights is the base, and then leggings is the mid.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So for some men, and I've done this before, I've had tights and then long john.
Oh yeah.
I ain't got no shame in that game, boy.
I done it.
When we used to run track, outdoor track in Chi-Town in February, we all had on tights.
Yeah. Under
our shorts, like shit.
Yeah.
You weren't gonna be running out there.
Ain't no cutting trees up. Yes, sir.
Right. So at these temperatures, adults will also want to add both a pair of warm gloves. We can wear gloves. Children still have on mittens and a scully. Warm gloves, y'all. I prefer mittens outside. They're much warmer than gloves. Younger children and babies should start with a heavy wool base layer as the first item. When possible, find a onesie that combines the top and the bottom layer into one article of clothing. Since there isn't a gap at the waist, it's easy to trap the warm air inside the base layer. Okay, if they got a onesie.
If I could say this, Baba, I know you're talking about children, but I try to keep a onesie like that in the car for emergencies. Like we're talking about winterizing the car as something that you can put on over your clothes so that you have that one piece.
I think we call that a monkey suit for guys. It's that mechanic overall suit you can put on.
Like a coverall.
Right. Then add on a thick fleece jacket and pants as a toasty mid layer. You can buy fleece pants and jackets that you could wear outside if you want to, but it's really a mid layer for the winter. Okay. You can get them online at those, popular places where you order stuff online from. For the shell, use insulating snow pants and a coat that will increase warmth while also adding water resistance. Hope you're biting me. As an alternative, find a one-piece insulating snowsuit, like we were talking about, that combines both the jacket and pants into one item. For babies, just like the onesie, this will make it easy to keep your baby warm and dry, but also makes diaper changes and potty training a nightmare. Just so you know.
Absolutely.
You got to take this whole thing off. It's terrible.
And it's just like that for adults too. Jumpsuits, it's convenient, but when it's bathroom time, you got to be careful.
Throw in a scully or a balaclava along with a pair of waterproof mittens. Remember, this is in that 20 to 39 degrees. It's cold. So throw in scully. You should always keep a scully with you, at least in your car, or a balaclava. Balaclava is what people call a ski mask. Okay, and it can be in different materials. It can be polyester, or it can be wool. Do not put I've never even seen one, a cotton balaclava on your head. Don't do it. For children, it's important to stick to mittens rather than gloves, since mittens will keep their fingers much warmer. Finally, consider your feet. Consider your feet. At these temperatures, you always want to use a pair of warm wool socks. Wool socks. In the house, not planning to go out today, so I don't have on wool socks. Normally, if I was in the Warrior Class Studios, I would have on wool socks.
You would need to.
And so, and I would pull up. You would see, I got wool socks. I got many pairs of wool socks. I got one pair, I think, of cotton, maybe two, but many pairs of wool socks. So try to get yourself some wool socks. They're not that expensive. You can actually get some good wool socks, new, not used, at the military supply place, because a lot of stuff at military surplus stores are, used.
I buy a lot of used stuff, but I'm not buying used.
Yeah, don't buy no used socks. That's gross.
And like you were saying, Bob, but they're not expensive. They're not as expensive now. So a lot of it is they're not all wool. But if you go to places like Burlington, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, they have those socks now that they're a little cheaper, but they're a wool blend, but they're still very warm. But you can wash them like normal and all that.
Right. Yeah, you can get the blends, but if you can get straight up wool, I would say do so. Because when I was in the military, a private bought some of those synthetic, the blend, and his feet. Now this is in heat. His feet blistered so bad, it was gross. It was a brother. His feet blistered up bad. I always had the actual wool. You see, y'all wore wool on your feet in the summer? Doggone right. In combat boots, yes. So my feet were fine. The wool wicks away the sweat and all of that. So it's not like you just burning up in the wool, If you're gonna wear sandals in the wool, I wouldn't say do that. That wouldn't be wise, but all right. So not only will the wool socks keep your toes toasty, but the wool continues to warm your extremities even if they get wet. You do not want your feet to get wet out here and it's cold. Frostbite will visit you. Regardless, don't bulk up with multiple layers of cotton socks. That's another thing. A friend of mine used to do that. He used to wear, like, in the winter, 7 pairs of cotton socks. I used to always try to tell him how dangerous it was, but he considered that kind of like his brand.
That was the style back in the days, in the 90s.
It's too much. Not only will and it was in the 90s. No, this was in the 80s. He was doing it.
Early.
Not only will the cotton make your feet colder, but the added layers will minimize any wiggle room and thus cut off circulation. Don't forget the snow boots. Circulation in your toes, that's a big thing. What happened with diabetes, people lose their toes, and the whole foot. Circulation is key. A person I knew who lived across the street from my best friend was riding his bike. He rode the bike every day. Brother about in his 40s. He's riding the bike and he starts to waver and fell. Well, first he's wavering, he looks back and his eyes get big, he falls. So we go over there to help him. He was unconscious. I looked in, his boot had fallen off. I looked in the boot And I was like, man, I'm done. I'm going home. His foot was in the boot.
Oh, you told me that. I forgot about that.
That was too much. And so I my boy called the ambulance for him. I went home. When I came back over there, we never saw him again. So I don't know what happened to him, but you know, his from the circulation not happening, the gangrene that spread so bad, whole foot fell off.
You don't like my music said waterproof footwear is crucial too. I would agree with you. If you can get some waterproof boots for the winter, that would be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just waterproof boots, truly waterproof boots, because some people just sell that, you know, as a selling point. Make sure they really waterproof.
Right, you can test them.
Yeah.
I just actually have to sign off now. So thank you so much. Peace and love to the family. Greetings, Okikiola.
Hey.
And I'll see y'all next week.
All right, peace.
All right, safe. I was just gonna say too. We at the end anyway, but for those of you who may not know, it's good to have wool on your skin as much as possible. It's the reason why it's in all the ancient traditions and in the Bible, and they wrap the children in wool. I'll even get kind of scientifically spooky with it. So we know the body vibrates. You know, they say raise your vibration, brother, or whatever. Well, that's a real thing. A healthy person body vibrates at about 110 megahertz. A sick person, just say I'm talking a regular sickness like a cold or a flu type of thing, your body then vibrates about 60% less. So let's say about, on average, 50 megahertz when you're sick. A regular sickness, you're down more than half, you're about 60% less. So cotton is about 110 megahertz, the same as your normal body. So it doesn't really do anything for you. Wool and linen vibrate at 5,000 megahertz.
Wow.
So wool is constantly healing your skin and your body. It's a real thing. You can look this up. You can Google it or talk to doctors about it. Wool and linen are healing fabrics. And they're the only fabrics known that I know of, that I've heard of, that actually are high healing like that in that respect. Everything else is around 100 megahertz. So that's just for people who are into that stuff and want to know. It makes a difference. So throw that out there for you.
Thank you.
Did the stocks.
Very interesting.
When I was young, we bought all the clothes at the Army Surplus store because it was so cheap and badass. Yeah, I still go to the Army Surplus. So Bob will tell you a lot of camouflage in my life. I use that cat litter hospice though. That's how we get rid of narcs, with dish soap in a bag of litter.
I didn't understand that one. Would you hit the narcs with the cat litter or something?
I don't understand. I know
this sound like ear doctor. I know everyone worries about ear doc. I hope his tooth is okay.
What happened?
Oh no, he's not like ear doctor. Ear doctor would say, you know, well, I won't say what he'll say, but you just have to watch Remix Morning Show for those who aren't familiar with the ear doctor. And
you all right?
You know, he has interesting theories. Well, he refused to go to the dentist. His wisdom tooth was bothering him. I'll say this: if you're dealing with Western medicine, maybe it should be your last resort. If you got other ways, so he was using clove oil and something else for his wisdom tooth. Okay, and he said, you know, he was fine. I assume he's still fine, but he was like, you know, don't go to the dentist. You know, they're here to make you sick and blah blah. I don't know about that one. He said, you know, he said something like, if anybody who's gotten their wisdom teeth pulled, something bad happened to them or whatever. Well, we know I've gotten all my teeth except for the ones you see here, the 8 right here.
Got my four out. My four are out. So
yeah, so it's not true. It was something.
I do understand
I
the
forget what he said
concept.
happens to you, but it wasn't nothing pleasant. But nothing happened when it was pulled. I was fine. Went to
I
a dentist.
understand, like you said, Western medicine is cutting, burning, or poisoning, and that is a last resort. But unfortunately, we're living in the Western world, eating Western food, breathing Western air. So 9 times out of 10, by the time you go to the doctor for something, it's at a alarming rate. It's an emergency. When they pick it up, it's an emergency.
Now, this here, you don't like my music. Your dentist should have been investigated. My dentist had to put his knee on my chest to get my wisdom teeth out. When that didn't work, he smashed them into pieces and took them out piece by piece.
Yo, was that during lunch? I had a.
Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing that is true. That you have to watch out for if you are a woman and you're pregnant, or a man and your woman's pregnant. Do not take her to see the doctor on a Friday, and she's close to giving birth. They will try to strip her membrane, so she goes into the hospital and has that or Thursday. They don't want to deal with it on the weekend. So they try to strip her membrane so she has that baby quicker. That's true. The last time we dealt with Western doctors for birth of our child, which was Ade. He's 20. He'll be 21, and we stopped dealing with the medical folks, and we dealt with a midwife, but we still went to the hospital with him. But that's over now. But anyway, she went to the doctor, her last checkup, and the doctor going in trying to strip her membrane. But our doula had taught us how they do it, the method that they use, so we knew what he was doing. I said, stop. What she was doing. I said, stop right now. Right? She went, what? I said, you're trying to strip her membrane. Stop right now. I grab her wrist. Stop.
This is the dentist, the ortho.
No. This is if the dentist was in my wife's private parts, I'd have snapped his neck. Oh my God. No. I'm just talking about Western medicine.
How do we get here? I'm sorry.
If I go to the dentist and just say, hey, ma'am, lay down. Let's work on your teeth, and I walk in and he's stripping her membrane.
No, at first, Bob, I'm like, okay, so
I'm going to kill him.
Not that membrane. We're talking about teeth or something. This is another membrane. I'm trying to listen for it. I'm like, wait a minute. So the dentist? Okay, I get you.
That'd be a hell of a dentist. You'd be bold as hell. You know.
Wow. Okay.
And the stuff we believe. So, and my roommate at Howard, his father was the top gynecologist in the country. Well, he asked his brothers, they were there. He said, Dad sees, excuse my language, he sees pussy every day. I'm sure he doesn't care nothing about that. His brother said, John, Daddy likes pussy. Like, what?
Yeah, don't think they're immune to.
Right.
They haven't seen it all.
That's why a lot of them get caught up with other folks' wives.
Right.
Put them to sleep and they do their thing. That's rape. That's different from sex, but it's still, it's not like he look at a vagina and it means nothing.
I just had
That's why you be careful and don't let your wife go to the doctor by yourself. Don't let your husband, don't let your significant other period go to the doctor by themselves. I don't care if it's medical, herbal, chiropractor. Be there as an advocate for your family member, because man, you never know, and crazy pops up everywhere.
And like you said, you having that knowledge is the only thing that helps you. So what I would say to everybody out there, yeah, I don't trust Western medicine. It's not you may be a great doctor, but you still slave to the information you was taught. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say, do as much as studying as you can and learning as you can. So when you do go to the doctor, you know what's going on and you can't be, handle a certain type of way. Right. That's important.
Sorry, Billy. Desiree Gerber said the child is protesting this topic. Funny as hell, but actually she was smiling, so she wasn't now she's protesting. But she wasn't protesting at first.
Yes.
Now that we're not talking about it, now she protesting.
She was realizing she could see herself and moving at first earlier. She was like, wait a minute, I didn't notice this last time.
Exactly, right.
So she's becoming more and more aware.
She's aware of that, right, exactly. That's what she's doing now.
Exactly. So yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Spread this show, man. Y'all make sure y'all tell folks, check it out. Go back if you need this information. I find myself going back to the show notes all the time, having to go back over things that I just did not know. So hey.
And Okikiola is 9 months, just so you all know. She'll be she's a big one, but she'll be 10 months on the 27th. Isn't that right? Yes. She just got back from Africa, and on 10, she was happy to see me. She got back.
Emmanuel Briggs says she threw a nice little uppercut at you.
So now that's how she ended up here. Because every time I go back there, hear her complaining, I'm checking on her because her mother was tired. But mother was up with her. She started crying when I leave out because she's been away from me for almost a month. Yeah. So that's how she ended up back here. But love y'all. Say love y'all. Say love y'all. You said she threw a nice uppercut. If it hit me, I don't notice. I get hit by grown students, so I really don't notice. My wife's like, oh Lord, everybody can't take her hitting them, so act like you feel it or something.
She funny at it too. You told her to say by everybody. She gave everybody her back. She like, I ain't paying attention to you. I ain't gonna do that.
I know. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
When I said say bye, now she let me know she ready to go somewhere. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Be safe. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
And make sure you winterize your stuff.
Winterize. And hit the like button.
Right. Peace.
Thank you.